So last week, me, my wife and 2 kids went out to the zoo for my daughter's 23rd birthday. We were having a great time. While leaving an enclosure, some woman sort of cut us off and pushed in front of us to get out first. She didn't actually touch us, and it wasn't that big a deal but was a little obnoxious, and I said there's no need to push ahead, love. She responded with something like, how did I push ahead, it's not like Teresa Q. I just tutted and thought whatever, not worth it. But then some giant guy, who was apparently her son, I didn't realize this because they looked very different. She was white, he was mixed, not that it matters. Said to her, what, does someone have a problem, Mom? And she pointed me out. Her son then turned around and started aggressively antagonizing me for no reason, telling me to keep my comments to myself, called me a bitch, a Karen, and he kept calling me tiny, saying I had little man syndrome. Just really off the wall stuff for what I thought was a benign comment. Then for some reason my daughter, 22F, felt the need to take up for this guy, and started saying stuff like, why are you like this? Why do you feel the need to say something? And then started apologizing to the guy, and agreed with him that I'm a Karen. I was really taken aback by this. Then the guy asks how old she is and she tells him, and he asks for her number, and she gives it to him. He hands his phone over to her, and she types in her number. Whole time this guy is staring at me with a shit-eating grin on his face. When my daughter comes back over to us, I ask her what the hell was that, and she just says, what? He's cute, and you need to be put in your place every once in a while. I said since that's what she thinks, she can buy her own car for her birthday. She clearly thought I wasn't serious because when she asked if we can look at cars, and I told her she can look herself, because I'm still not paying for it. This has divided my house, with my son taking my side, saying she was out of line, and my wife saying it's not worth ruining my relationship with her over. I feel like if not getting her a car as punishment is enough to ruin her relationship with me, then I probably spoiled her too much anyway. She already has a car that I bought her 2 years ago which works fine, so it's not like I'm exactly depriving her. Ida? I am at work on my lunch break right now, so can't really reply. I have skimmed the comments and will address a few things I feel relevant. The car I bought her 2 years ago was a runaround Fiat 500, second-hand. It is in fine shape but not exactly the nicest car. I had promised my daughter an Audi as my son is going traveling for his 21st birthday, which I am paying for. The car she wanted was, roughly, the same cost. She doesn't live at home. She hasn't since she moved out for uni at 18. I don't feel like I am a Karen, but I'm not shy to speak up/complain if I feel I must. If people are rude, or something is not up to my standard, I will happily say something. I realistically couldn't beat up the 6'4" or whatever 20-something-year-old mouthing off to me. I am 47 years old, and have worked an office job for the last 20 to 30 years, and have a bad back. Second post posted January 24, 2024. So I got home about an hour ago, and my wife called me into the room to talk. She gave me an ultimatum. She said I can either swallow my pride and buy my daughter the car, or she will buy the car out of her own money. My wife doesn't earn as much as me, but still has a well-paying job and can afford it. She said that everyone is sick of my attitude in public, that every time we go out I get in some sort of altercation or disagreement with someone over some petty shit. I think this is a gross over-exaggeration, but my wife showed me texts from my daughter asking if she can go out with just my wife because I always do something to embarrass everyone. My wife refused, and defended me saying that's not true, and that's why when I got in that argument my wife said nothing about my daughter's actions. She said she isn't going to punish my daughter because I can never keep my mouth shut, especially when my daughter said she didn't want me there because something like this would happen, and she defended me only to be made to look like a fool. She says that my daughter barely likes me as it is, and if I do this I shouldn't be shocked when she stops talking to me completely. I asked my wife if all I am to my daughter is a piggy bank, and she told me to stop playing the victim. She said it's up to me what I do with my money, but my daughter will be getting the car one way or another, so I can either make her hate me for no reason, or I can swallow my pride and get her the car myself. Don't really know where to go from here. Third post, posted January 25, 2024. Sorry I didn't really respond, a lot happened yesterday. After everything I called my daughter and over because I wanted to talk about everything. My wife said to just let it go, but clearly everyone had a problem with me that I didn't know about, so I wanted to get to the bottom of it. So I waited for my son to get home, and my daughter drove round a little later. We all sat down and decided to talk. I started by doing what many of you suggested, and asked for actual examples, rather than just accepting their word for it. And honestly a lot of it sounded ridiculous. The fact that I sent back a steak twice because both times it was undercooked, as if it's a crime to want a 180-pound steak cooked correctly. The fact that I argued with someone who sat in our assigned seats at a cinema even though it was nearly empty, again, as if it's a crime to want to sit in the seat I paid for when there's dozens of other places for these people to sit, and other equally silly things which I can't be bothered to get into and don't even really remember as a result of the insignificance of it. Despite me thinking that it was all ridiculous, I said I would do my best to be a meek pushover in public if that was the only way to get them to like me. And that I would get the car on one condition, that my daughter hadn't actually texted the guy who abused me. I asked to look at her messages, and she said not to even bother, because she had texted him and I didn't have the right to control who she talks to. I said that is true, But I do have the right to spend my money on whatever I want, and I'm not getting my daughter a car. She has one that works fine, and even if I am an ass, in a situation where her family is getting threatened, she sided with the aggressor and then doubled down on that. And that is unforgivable. My daughter blew up at me, and said that I am a petty little pig-headed man, with a Napoleon complex, and that all the money in the world hasn't stopped me from being a fucking loser. I said oh yeah, because the guy who screams at old men is such a winner. And she screamed at me that I'm not a victim, and then something about how cathartic it was to watch someone stand up to me, and that how the second he did she watched me shrink back into the little bitch I'd always been growing up. That was the last straw. I told her to get out. But she doubled down and told me that my wife had told them about me being bullied growing up, and that was why I am the way I am. I saw my wife turn pale as a ghost at this comment. This is something I confided in her in private. Clearly this is why my daughter stopped respecting me. Obviously I wasn't cool enough for her or whatever. I was speechless, but my daughter carried on. She said make a genuine promise to Jake he can still go to Cambodia, and ask him what he really thinks. I just nodded. Her brother begged not to be put in the middle of this but I insisted. All he said was sometimes you can be a bit much, Dad. My daughter called him a pussy, and just walked out. My son ran off to his room, and my wife drove off after my daughter. She didn't come back last night. I've not heard from my wife or daughter since. I've called out of work. My son left for university without saying a word to me. I've barely slept a wink. I can't believe it. I'm a cliché. A rich old man whose family hates him. If I was lost before, now I'm genuinely clueless about what I'm supposed to do. Fourth, final, post, posted February 4th, 2024. Everyone has been asking for an update so here it is. Though there isn't really much to tell. My daughter blocked me everywhere since she left. I did go to reach out, but saw she had blocked me. I haven't heard anything since. My wife is staying with her parents, and is refusing to come home unless I agree to individual therapy and family therapy, which I'm still refusing, because I feel it is a waste of time. I know myself and I know my mind. So would I like to complain sometimes, that doesn't make me mentally ill. My son and I are probably the biggest update I guess. We are falling out hard. He is blaming me for tearing the family apart by being stubborn. He says I drove my daughter away, and I drove my wife away, and I'm going to drive him away too unless I try to make it right with everyone. He is mainly mad at me for refusing my wife's demands to therapy. He is still living at home, as it is close to his university, but he says that if I'm not at least trying to make it right by the time he finishes he will leave and not look back. It turns out the reason his sister called him a pussy is that he actually agrees with her more than he let on. He says that I'm a bully, that I bully and get condescending and rude to people in public, and then play the victim if anyone calls me out on it. He says I am rude to everyone, everywhere I go, and that I'm rude to everyone at home too. He says that I lord my money over people, and that if anyone disagrees with anything I do I take it away. He said my daughter hasn't liked me since she was 16, and that she always talked about escaping me. He said she never even expected me to actually go through with getting the car, because she knew I'd snatch it away the first time she did something I didn't like. Apparently the whole thing was a test. She had made it clear to everyone that if I did in fact snatch the car away at the last second she planned to never speak to me again. My son knew this, my wife knew this. That's why my wife was so adamant on me getting the car for my daughter. That's why my daughter was so upset about me not getting it, because in her mind that was me finally killing the relationship. He also told me that my wife has defended me for years, and years, that she didn't betray my trust but she told the story of my upbringing to try and stop him and his sister from hating me. He said my daughter has openly said she should leave me for years, and that my wife always told her off for that, but now I've finally pushed her away too. He admitted he never thought she would ever actually leave me, but said he's proud of her for standing up to me finally. He also said he doesn't care if I take away his birthday trip, that he wants me to fix the family and that is more important than some holiday. I've decided I'm not going to take away his holiday, as that would probably just give them even more ammo against me, but I'm also not doing therapy. They may need therapy. I don't. I am fine with who I am. I like myself, even if they don't. That's basically it. Now on to the second story. Story 2. Told my pregnant wife I'd be with my dying mom instead of her during delivery. Now she's banned me from the delivery room and we're separated. So, to get started, I am 36M, and my wife is 33F. We are expecting our first child soon. My mother, who is 70, was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer and has been hospitalized since it is so bad doctors say she will not survive since treatments aren't working well on her. My dad died when I was young, and my mom took care of me while working 2 jobs so that I could have a good life. I feel I owe everything to my mother. I bought her a house and whatever she needed so that she could live her older years well since we had to struggle so much. When I got home from work and visiting my mom, my wife and I were talking, and she asked if you got a call that I was in labor or your mom was going to die, who would you pick? I told her I would pick my mom. She asked why, and I told her that I wanted to be there to say goodbye to my mom since I would never see her again, and so she would have somebody there in her final moments. She got mad and said what about her and our baby? I told her I would try to be there as fast as I could after my mom, But that most likely wouldn't happen, so I told her not to worry about it. She was still mad and told me to get out of the house. I left, and now I'm at my mom's house. So Reddit Ida? Edit, to everyone saying that I would be leaving her in alone. No, I wouldn't. She would have her mom there. She has said she wanted her mom there with her. Yes, I was right for leaving my house. It was either I leave, or she go, and I was not about to put my pregnant wife out of our house. Yes, I have been there for her. I have taken off work to comfort and help her in any way she needs during this pregnancy. Edit 2, I keep getting the same question about why did I leave my house even though I may own the house. It was late and I didn't want my pregnant wife out late at night, but she told me to leave, so I knew it was either me or her. 2, my mother is in the hospital. She is not at her house. 3, I thought a lot about what a lot of you said about how I should put her first, but she doesn't put me first at all. She chooses her sisters over me all the time. 4th, I do not make her feel second. I have put my wife first, especially in emergencies, and I have tried my best to comfort her. I have gone home and I'm thinking I don't need to apologize to y'all. I really don't know. Thanks to everyone who's commented. Relevant comments. Pace No 4108. You got kicked out of your house for getting a hypothetical question wrong. On face value UNTA, but what is likely happening is your wife isn't feeling the support and love she really wants and needs right now. Is she a super needy controlling woman? Or simply feeling a tad neglected? Hormonal? I think you need to consider the why she asked the question and address that's the problem. The hypothetical question and hurt reaction is simply how it plays out. Get out of your mom's house and go fix this. Leaving her home alone isn't going to help. Sleep out front if you need to. Bring lots of apologies too. You are not kicked out for a bad answer here. There is a feeling of loss and something missing that your wife isn't feeling and needs to as soon as possible. Figure that out and go give it to her. And give her another version of it every day for the rest of your life. Go find out what part of love your wife doesn't think she has. Don't become Uda and sleep at mom's house. Oop, no, she's not a needy controlling woman. I never thought about that, but I did plan to go home and apologize today and ask her some questions about it. Kiri Dolk 0x0, info, have you missed important appointments or not helping out around your own house as much, making your wife feeling like she is alone, for her to ask questions like that? Oop, no, I've been to all but one and that's because she forgot to tell me about it. When I come home I wash the dishes, form dinner and clean the floor. Usually she prefers to cook. I have taken off a lot of days to help and comfort her though this. So maybe I could do more. I don't know what else to do, but I will ask though. Weak possession 7650. It's a hard choice, but I'd say NTA, as long as your wife does actually have another plan for getting to the hospital and someone to support her. If not, the situation is a little iffy. Chances of both happening at the same time are quite unlikely, though. So here's hoping you don't actually have to choose. Oop. Yes, she does have support. Her mom and sisters live close to us, about 5 minutes away. They would be able to drive her. Update number 1, January 3rd, 2024. Hello again, people of Reddit. Some of you asked for an update, so here it is. I went back home yesterday afternoon. She wasn't there. I assumed she was at her mom's house. She came back in the evening and we had a talk about what happened. She did apologize for asking the question and that when she thought about it she understood my answer because she would do the same. I asked her why she asked. She said she didn't know and thought I was going to pick her since I normally do. I kinda just said okay and moved on. I did tell her I want marriage counseling after or even before the baby's born. She asked why I told her how I felt and she denied it, so I had to give her proof. Then she started crying and got mad and told me to sleep in the guest room instead of kicking me out, so I guess I got a win there. Anyways, she also told me that she no longer wanted me in the delivery, which I was fine with. I understand to an extent where it's coming from. I will go into therapy, which was suggested, and I think I do need it. Anyways, that's it. Thanks for the advice. Y'all gave some good and bad advice, and sorry if my comments came off as mean. I'm not really a friendly person till you know me, especially if you're accusing me of something. Relevant comments. Winter World 561. You would actually be fine with not being there to see the birth of your child? Really? Oop. No, but it's her choice. I can't make her let me in there. Bika. You could have told her it's a priority for you, that you're sorry too, that you guys were talking hypothetical and the chances of your mom dying on your child's birthday are very slim. You could have tried to make her see it's important to you. Just accepting it would make me feel like you just don't care. Also, you could have been more understanding, taken accountability and apologized to her before you brought in marriage counseling. Oop. I did tell her that she is a priority and she did see it's important to me because she would do the same. And we did all that. Why do all y'all want me to argue with a pregnant woman? Sandbunny 85. Please tell me you're in therapy. Please. Oop. I have made an appointment with one. Update number 2, January 4th, 2024. Hello people, this will probably be my last and final update. I read a lot of your comments and I did apologize not for bringing up marriage counseling but for the timing I brought it up and that I did show her proof. She did forgive me and told me I was still not going to be at the birth of our child. I said to her that it was okay and that I had accepted it and I wasn't going to fight her on her choice. I did tell her that I think she and I both need some space before the baby comes, to which she agreed. I told her I would leave, and that she could have the house, and that if she needed anything, to call or text me. No, I'm not at my mother's house. I'm at a friend's house. He doesn't live there anymore, but he usually rents it out. To all of you asking why don't you kick her out? It's because I'm the only person who makes money in the house, and I know especially now if I kick her out it will be called financial, emotionally manipulation, or even abuse. So it's better a lot of times if I leave. Yes, I do plan to go back home when the baby is born, and to someone who asked, I do plan to take paternity leave. No, she does not know where I'm at. She didn't ask, so I didn't tell, mainly because her family would be banging on my door. To people who I know are going to ask, why aren't you fighting harder to be in the delivery room? I've learned that some things I cannot control, and one thing is people. If she doesn't want me in there, I won't be. My main example is if I had gotten someone pregnant in my 20s and I said get an abortion just because it's my baby as well doesn't mean that I can control what she does. So it's her body, her choice. Lastly, to people who are saying they need more details, I'm not used to just randomly talking about myself. It's been that way since I was a child. I've gotten better since I was a kid, but it's still a struggle. So if you have a question, give me a specific question because I answer what you ask, not the above. And about the divorce thing, I do care if she divorces me. I do love her, but I cannot control how she feels, so personally, I won't beg her not to. I will suggest that we get help, but if she doesn't want to, then that's fine. I'm secure. What I mean by that is she will get nothing in the divorce. Does she know that? I don't know. I will try my best to answer the questions in the comments. Relevant comments. 1 Awareness 3671. NTA, but wow, such a dramatic turn of events from a hypothetical question. A sweet tweet rose. Really escalated quickly. Like, now I don't think he's even going to have his wife as an emotional support when his mom dies. I hope he has a support system in place because he's going to need it. Oop. Well, that's why I'm going to therapy, because I don't want to lean on my wife too much after she has the baby. 3x3 Animal Stylepools. Can I ask, why is your last line of the post certainty she would get nothing in the divorce? Can you elaborate on that a bit? Oop. We have a prenup. Anything that was purchased before the marriage would be mine, since even before we got married she was stay at home. So I purchased the house and everything before we got married, so it would be mine. Toffee Swirl 07. Do you have autism? Oop. ADHD, not autism. Spoonbills, I'm secure. What I mean by that is she will get nothing in the divorce. Does she know that? I don't know. Do you hate this woman? Your wife, who's carrying your child/Ren. She doesn't work, she'll be doing primary childcare presumably. How is she going to live? She's going to be a single mother, just like your mom. Is that what you want for her and your kids? I do not understand you at all. Why are you throwing everything away because a first-time pregnant woman feels insecure? Oop. I don't plan on getting a divorce as one. No, I don't hate her. She will have to get a job and I will probably end up paying child support. I don't plan on getting a divorce if she wants one, that's on her. I'm not throwing anything away, I'm just giving her space and not making her more stressed. Okay, Team 5124. The if she doesn't want me in there, I won't be, and she will get nothing in the divorce statements both bother me. It sounds like she may want you to show that you really want to be there with her and with her in general. Maybe try a little harder to make that known. Your attitude makes it seem like you just don't care. Also, why would you want her to get nothing in the divorce? She is the mother of your child. Oop, that was decided before we got married. When we got engaged she decided to be a house fiancée then housewife. So for me, I wanted to protect myself if she ever checked. I've heard too many stories. My attitude around her, I try to show I care, but maybe she doesn't see it that way. I don't know how she sees it. Yes, I know that she is the mother of my child. Final update, February 5th, 2024. Hello people, I have good and bad news. So I will start with the good news. My wife had the baby on January 26th. It's a girl and I love her so much I wanted to name her after my mother, but we found a compromise and her middle name is my mother's name. To the questions I'm going to get about, was I in the delivery room? I was not. I did ask, but I got a no, and she said she had already told her sister and that she couldn't hurt my feelings, which okay, by then I had stopped caring a lot. The bad news is my mother died. She died a week before my baby was born. A decent bit of her friends came to the funeral, and if you go back up a sentence, I said I had stopped caring a lot. She didn't come to the funeral. She made stupid excuses and I just said forget it. It was nice though. I am mad that she wasn't there when I needed her. So I haven't been talking to her much, so I won't yell at her. We talk about baby and her, and other than that we don't talk. I'll bring up marriage counseling in a few weeks, but for now I'm going to enjoy my baby and love her.